Welcome back to another Champion Deep Dive, and today we are talking about Professor X. He's a back-to-back special attack launcher who builds channeling charges that mind controls the opponents, locking their power and their special attacks. Bypass, miss, and evade without affording the same courtesy. If you're looking for all that and more, Professor X gon' give it to you. Now, first thing to notice is Professor X pulls you into the mindscape before you start your first fight. You're in his domain now. Now, his mutation, which is always active, all of Professor X's attacks deal energy damage, which of course ignore physical resistance, and have those built-in benefits like not taking damage from attacking Korg while he has rock stacks active. Also, the first medium attack is the only basic attack that makes contact with the opponent, which means the rest of the attacks are projectiles. Daredevil's gonna have a field day with this. And his mastery over telepathy gives him immunity to reverse controls. Whenever Professor X would be struck by a basic attack, he inflicts a falter passive, causing 100% of the opponent's attack to miss for 2 seconds. This ability has a 20-second cooldown, but starts the match at 10. This falter only works with basic attacks, so special attacks can still hit you and falter is removed and you'll enter cooldown. If you want to speed that timer up, however, you can reduce the timer by 1 second every time you dodge an attack. This comes in handy when you need an extra opening when fighting stun immune opponents. Now, Professor X has some pretty sweet abilities that he gains through channeling charges at different thresholds. These can be accessed at the end of Special 1 and 2 attacks and while charging his heavy attack. While channeling, you gain 10 charges per second. However, if you're power burned or drained, you'll lose 50 channeling charges. Now, while at 25 or more charges against non-tech champions or psychic shielding champions like Magneto or Juggernaut, Professor X bypasses evade. So, Daredevil is not going to have a field day with this. Also, you gain a vigilance passive allowing you to bypass miss as well. Once you reach 50 or more charges, using the 4th light attack inflicts mind control on the opponent. This can also be done upon activation of a special attack if you have 100 charges, but more on that later. Now, if Professor X is allowed to complete his channeling, he'll be rewarded with 10 additional bonus charges. You can also achieve this if you cancel out of channeling with a heavy attack. Also, making contact with the opponent isn't required to get the bonus. Pro tip, stringing these two together with his falter ability will give you the best bang for your buck, as you'll have protection from immediate attack. If falter is on cooldown, however, canceling out of your channeling by attacking or blocking will gain a prowess buff, increasing special attack damage by 40% for 36 seconds. Keep in mind, these aren't required to make contact with the opponent to register, they're applied on activation. If you cancel by dashing backwards, you'll refresh the duration of all prowess effects. Now, inflicting mind control on the opponent lasts 0.5 seconds for every 10 channeling charges. While active, the opponent is locked from gaining power and they're unable to use any of their special attacks. This is the first. Now, mind control duration is paused during special attacks, but not while channeling. And each special attack costs up to 70% less power based on the number of channeling charges. So try to get as many as you can before you enter mind control. This allows Professor X to launch back-to-back specials with a juiced up power bar. However, if you're up against a tech champion, this number is reduced to 40%. And for the cherry on top, you have unblockable specials while in mind control. Now, let's find out a little more about these special attacks. The special one hits 3 times and gains 25 channeling charges on activation. This is a good way to quickly build up your charges outside of heavy attacks and channeling. The special 2, now this is where your big damage lies. The last 3 hits deal a burst of energy damage, which also scales with special attack damage. So that burst damage can directly benefit from all those prowess buffs you're stacking. Now the special 3 will add a prowess buff for each Cerebro charge. increasing special damage by 60% and lasting 40 seconds. The max you can gain this way is 4 stacks. But wait, what's a Cerebro charge? Cerebro charges are a persistent charge that starts each quest with 1 charge and gains 1 each time you win a fight, up to 4 charges max. This also increases the potency of Professor X's synergies, but we'll get into that in just a moment. But first, let's check out the signature ability. Krakoan Sovereignty is a passive effect. While below 75 channeling charges, Professor X gains 1 charge per second. While defending, this rate is doubled and charges are gained for the entire fight. Also, he gains up to 50% of the current prowess potency, scaling with the opponent's power meter. So, the more power they have, the higher the damage. So, how do we put this all together? Champion rotation is up next. For shorter fights, you have a few options. If you're looking to minimize your opponent's ability to launch a special, use parry to buy you some time to charge a heavy, and then cancel into attack to get the bonus charges, especially if the heavy attack doesn't make contact, because you build up your charges without building up the opponent's power meter. When you get close to your special 1, charge your heavy attack. Use Falter as your safeguard to charge your channeling and counter the attacking opponent. This will have put you over the threshold to enter into mind control, with either a 4th light attack or a special attack if you manage to charge to 100. Your opponent is now power locked and special locked. Once you've launched your special 1, either block or attack to gain a prowess, and continue the attack to gain another special 1. Again, stack on another prowess and try for another opening. This is usually enough for most short fights, but if not, go back, repeat the steps to get the win. Alternatively, on longer fights, you'll want to max out your channeling charges and rush to your special 3 to stack those prowess, especially if your persistent charges are maxed out. Now, launching an SP3 directly from parry will give you an easy opening to continue your attack into special 2, and you get to continue your attacks from there because you're using so little power, you can get that onslaught of special after special. And remember, each time you attack after a special, you are gaining a prowess, which is making your special attack damage even stronger. And because they're unblockable, you can launch them without worry. Professor X's mastery over his and the opponent's power bar make him an interesting choice for nodes like Power Reserve, Power Focus, Spite, and other power gain options and nodes. Power Shield will put those prowess to real good use. Special Connoisseur, requiring prowess to do damage, scoot the good professor right on through. Also, because he bypasses evade and gains vigilance at 25 plus charges, he's an excellent choice for nodes like Mesmerize, Tunnel Vision, and Mixmaster, for example. Now let's check out those synergies. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now, Professor X offers synergies to all mutants and X-Men, except for himself. Keep in mind that not all X-Men are in the mutant class. For example, Magic, Unstoppable Colossus, Longshot, and Phoenix. Now let's look at Birthright. Simply having Professor X on the team gives 25% special attack damage for each Cerebro charge, maxing at 100%. Have fun rediscovering your mutant roster. Drug Eye gives 18% poison resistance for each Cerebro charge, maxing at 72%. This really helps when running the Liquid Courage Mastery, especially if you're running Willpower. In return, Wolverine gains an additional 15% critical rating, and Colossus starts each fight with 1 indefinite armor up buff, granting 15% armor, which gives him some extra protection on top of an additional source of critical damage rating and attack rating on specials and heavies, among other armor up related benefits. Habitat sees a 15% prowess effect duration for each Cerebro charge, maxing at 60%. Both Storms see a 20% bump in shock potency, and Emma Frost gains up to 30% increased critical rating, scaling with Emma's power meter. Now, Drug L activates once per fight when a champion would be knocked out. Immediately regenerates 7.5% of their max health for each Cerebro charge, up to 30%. Anyone looking to tank a special 3? In return, Cyclops, both New Xavier School and Blue Team, their beam hits gain 100% critical damage rating and inflict an armor break, reducing armor rating by 20% for 5 seconds. It's really effective. Phoenix, when overcharged, gains an indefinite Fury passive, increasing attack rating by 60%, maxing at 5 stacks. That's a potential 300% increase. Drug M provides a mental barrier with 2.5% of current health for each Cerebro charge, maxing out at 10% health. So whenever that champion would take damage, except from Special 3, the barrier takes 75% of the damage until it reaches 0 health. Very similar to Invisible Woman's shield. Now, Magneto gains 15% attack while fighting metal champions, while Magneto X's bonus attack rating is increased by 5%. But if it's the last node of a quest, this becomes 15%. So, get ready for those boss fights. Now, Iceman detonates all active frostbites when ice armor shatters. This also eliminates the need to time your frostbite expirations with your special 2, thus giving you more bang for your buck from your frostbite damage. Now, those are some pretty hefty synergies. We can't wait to see what teams you put together. Sound off below if you're already theory crafting. Now here are some mastery suggestions. Maxing out Petrify will net less power gain for the opponent while stunned up to 30%. So the parry heavy method, while building up bonus channeling charges, helps to keep the opponent power meter in check to maximize this method. Thank you for watching this champion deep dive for Professor X. Are you ready? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, and I hope that you did, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, share it with your mama. All that stuff is absolutely fantastic. And remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all on the flip. Oh, Potamus.